The issue of transition is particularly urgent. On the one hand, two of them are in San Antonio, where you have to lie down, and the book ball. The home side still holds me in their hands. The other side, the campaign for mass is not easy to win. The last time I saw the video was in the last minute. The Caso bomb was dropped by 3 points. The film is about a young boy who is killed by a drunk driver and his wife, a woman who is killed by a drunk driver. What is the meaning of this? The case seems to be going on again. The first is the hello. The video is a bit more than a video game. The first is the mass movement. This is very clear. So the next contest is going to be, they just need to do their own thing. I think they deserve it. The story of the defeat of the Muslims. The result was a 32+5+5 win for Bromson. OG continues to play steadily. The video was shot in 2 parts in 28:5 blue. The number of people who are affected by this virus is 139. The number of people who were killed was over 8%. The series is about that. The importance of the project may be greater than Bromson and Towns. The most difficult part of the problem is that the internet is not the only way to solve it. What is it? The OG's overall performance was amazing. Many will go along with it and even dare to challenge the Aam Aadmi Party in the face. Why is it that Panama cannot have the power to limit it? Today let's have a chat. OG 1, the first 3 Earthmen of the Alliance. I have already said this before. The final of the tournament. The 2-point ox transport is a relatively unsolved problem for Mars. The other is OG, which is actually Towns. The difficulty of Towns' position is that they are not the only ones who are in the position. The first is that the government has been able to reduce the number of people in the country by 1,000 times. The game is played in a high-level format. The Arab world has been forced to resist the threat of a nuclear attack. This is an attempt to counter the collaborative defense system of Mars. This is a huge loss. The country's military is also a major player in the war. The first time the city was ranked in the top 10 in the world, it was in the top 10 in the world. The situation is also not optimistic. The OG may be more headache-making than Towns. The most important thing is that the first time I saw the video was in the video. The first is to raise the number of people who are in the country. The video was posted on Twitter. A heavy wind weighing 109 kg. The government has already taken steps to protect the people of the country from the violence. The body size is significantly smaller than the OD number 1. Even the bananas are strong and resistant. It's not a concern. The attack during the final of the OG. This is the first time that a video has been uploaded. This is a ball. Nick takes a step to make OG single. The head defense man is the best defense against the Caso. But Caso is faced with the weight of the electoral numbers. It seems to be overwhelming. Finally, the OG has overtaken the space of the 2 lakes. He was shot in the head with a slight back injury. The next ball. OG is fast on the receiving end of Caso. The first time I saw the video was in the video. It's a defense against nothingness. The water is done with the hands. The goal is to get the ball out of the lineup. The first is the Gordab screen of the Caso. The space is light blue for it. The first time I saw the water, I was so excited. The OG is more deadly than the pig's head. This year's races. The report also showed that the country's average rate of hits was 47.3%. The first is the Spanish. It is not only able to enter 3 points of this space. Even this one-hit wonder lasts for 3 minutes. The world is not going to be a place for the poor. OG is still in the last minute today. The first time the team was in the top 3, they were in the top 3. I'm not sure. The defense of our partners is not 10. The first time the 2 sides met, they were able to get in. I'm not sure. The distance between OG and the airport is also terrible. The car jumped over the end of the road. The problem is that there is no way to stop it. The most terrifying thing is, OG even dared to challenge the defense of thousands of times. This is a ball. OG takes the ball out of the line 3 times. The first time a fake action was used, the government was forced to shut down the government. The water is being used for irrigation of a single season of homelessness. This round in a game 2 goal. It's almost the same. The first is that the country is not a country. The last goal was the defense of Closer, who was attacked by the OG 1,000 times over. The first is the blue. The space is open. Half horse finishes watering with his hands. The first time I saw a ball, I was surprised to see it. Previous rounds of the series. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The first is the Closer machine, which is also a blue-collar machine. Mass relies on his second defense. The final was won by the team. Why is it that the wrong people are being punished 1,000 times? The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. This is mainly due to 2 reasons. The first, OG is too far away. Nearly 50% of the victims. The first thing that I'm going to do is to get rid of him every time he gets out of the way. The first is the greatest day of the world. The OG is too distant. The first time I saw a video of a man who was in the car, I was surprised to see that he was in the car. The first is that the country is not a country. The first is that the country is not as big as it was before. Trying to cover the vacuum. The problem is that the internet is too much. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The first is the bloody blue movement. The government has also been able to mobilize thousands of people to remove. The second is the talent for bullying is overwhelming in front of 99% of NBA players. The attack was a blow to the world. The report also highlights the importance of the new rules for the healthcare sector. The speed of the force has risen above its size. The players were arrested. The OG is one of them. The government has been criticizing the OG for its unfair behavior. We will find out. OG will use its width and thickness. The problem is that the number of people who are not in the same age group is very high. The government has been trying to get the government to stop the violence. The first step is to get over the door 1,000 times. It's easy to create space, unless the power is increased by 1,000 times. If not, even later. It is not at the expense of OG. The coalition will always have a chance to lose its way. I'm not sure. This is the OG attack. We'll talk about it again, and we'll talk about its defense. Nick is not the absolute core of the defense. The first four were the first, besides Brunson. The first is the firefighting. The first is that the military is not going to be able to take the necessary measures to protect the people. OG is probably the first. OG's defense is robbing the diversity of the single room and its slope capabilities. It is the most powerful single room person to twist the outside world. The team's second leading goalkeeper. Ugh, two bad things happened today, and it was really good. Herper's first goal came in the first half. Herper is accelerating to the bottom of the blue. Nick's back to the drawing board. Herper was rewarded with a level of bad luck by the simple blue. The other ball was a Herper switch. This is a round. Herper consciously uses anti-blue. The first is to avoid the protection of the OG. The first is that the air is still being blown up by the OG. The single room in OG doesn't have to say. The winds are the highest in the entire union of single room capacity. It locked up too many dead stars. The young people who are coming out of the woods are very simple. This is a ball. Herper is too confident. The party's opposition to the OG. Although not covered by WIN, the government has also been trying to get the government to stop the illegal trade in goods. The first is that the government is not going to be able to make a difference in the lives of the people. The last of the middle heads was also successfully disturbed. The first is that the video is not a single. The speed advantage is not cheap. The government has been forced to shut down the country. The real relocation. The number of people who have died is 15. The video is a bit more detailed and you can see it. The first is to find out the success of the OG single room. It's not easy. The game is a mix of games and games. The chances of passing are 80%. I'm not sure I can do it again. I can only say, OG's defensive shells and massive body. The pressure is too much to bear. The data is not just about the data, it's about the data. The report also highlights the importance of the new technology in the world. The first is the blue card. Some of the habits of OG. The first is that the internet is not a place for people to go to. The results of the survey were positive. The data is not available. And OG is probably the first line of defense in the league. One of the cleanest players to play. It's hard not to be appreciated. The 3 matches before the race, OG's field goal has now reached 26.6 points. The number of people who died from the disease was 54.3%. The number of hits per third is 44.4%. If Nick finally wins, the FMP votes may be split between the two parties. The next year, the Tigers will take over the world. OG for blue surgery. The first time I saw a video of the video was in the video. The story is told through the eyes of a young girl. But in that year's 2nd grade, he was a student of the school. The team has already made close to half of the regular field contributions. The 3rd generation of the family is now out. Not just a water polo player. Blue Nile is back. He was the replacement for Blue Nile. Blue Nile is gone. He is also the younger brother of Secom. This is today. He is the 3rd youngest brother of the Blue League, and the first to be elected to the position of a major warlord. Maybe Blue Nile and Secom. The first time I saw a woman in the West, I was in a coma and I was in a coma. The first part of the OG is finished. We will talk about the changes in capital. After all, they are the only team in the camp today. The financial factors are not included. The country is a progressive country. After all, Game 2 is a game. They are part of the financial system, and they are the ones who are the biggest threat to the economy. I'm not going to go down there. But today we won. Game 2 is a game. The government has also announced that the government will be closing the doors of the airport. New York City has 3 vacancies, and the number of vacancies is rising. So today, the government has taken control of the 3 major carburetors. The last one can eat more dogs than the last one can eat. But there are only 25 of them. The number of penalties is 8 to 7. The first time I saw a woman in the world who was pregnant, I was in a coma. The 5 pearls are the 5th largest in the world. The first is that the driver is not good. What is the meaning of this? The first is the Times campaign. The capital is also making progress. The first time we saw the return of the Aramaic people to tiles was in a significant decline. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything about it. More protection for blue frames and blue cricket. I'm going to tell you again. The first is the Carlton. The first is the Times of the world. The first is the use of the internet. Matchgate used the previous few games to play the extra borons. CB played for less than 4 minutes. Cornet paper is as good as it gets. The strategic value of charging the Amman. The team is basically based on the Tiger Free League. Gahorper hit the 7th one in less than 17 minutes. Carlton is playing. In other words, Match has tried to reduce the number of rounds. This is a powerful tool for the community. The first is that the country is not a country. The game is not won. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. I'm always here. Tiles is better off confine. Ma's better control of his 15. The game is a great way to get a better grip on the key balls. The young people are part of the youth movement. The first is that the people are not the same. What is more worth mentioning? The first is that the game is not a game. This is not a problem. Nearly all mixed players, including Tiles. The best way to play Kwamas is to play Kwamas. I'm not a good person. Boronson is also a professional. We are the ones who have been the victims of 15 and many crimes. But what about that? This is not true. The mass of the mass is not particularly well-rounded. A moment after the race, I'm also going to post in the community. The first and third episodes of the year are still good. The fourth part, though difficult, cut the competition. But overall, the game is not good. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. I'm going to look at it again. Maori finally made a living. The 2 balls are defined by the following. The first goal came 2 minutes before midfield. We are repressing the death of the fighters completely. Passing the ball to Casso. The last one to break the bomb. The castle is not good for the 3-point source. The first 2 or 3 minutes of the game were spent in the home. This is an absolute key ball. But it's also an absolute game of chance. It is very difficult to copy. The second goal came 12.2 seconds ahead of midfield. The whole place is railroaded. The Fox 4 was only 14 times 4. The first is the OG. The death penalty is in full swing. The difference will be increased to 5 points. The first is to get rid of the horse and start playing. The lucky ingredient of the ball. The first ball was not as good as the first. But considering Fox's current state of affairs, the first is the greatest day of the world. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get in the game, but I'm sure I'm going to be able to get in the game. If these 2 balls don't come in, what is the difference between the 2? I don't know the answer. It's like game 2. If the last minute is perfect, the last minute is perfect, and the last minute is perfect, then the last minute is perfect. We don't know. If you are going to be attacked by Maz, you will be attacked by Maz. Of course, this is not a problem. The score is 1 to 2 and it's already set. It's not 2 to 1. It's not 2 to 3. I'm not going to say anything about the future. Maori made changes. The game is over. The series was not fully restored to its original format. This is not just about today. They have not yet regained their home advantage. I'm not sure what to do. They're in Game 3. The country has been completely destroyed by the Taliban. The opportunity to twist the lens. The first is that the country is not a democracy. The Game 4 is due to be played 2 days later. The government has also been trying to change the mentality of senior citizens to a less-than-dog attitude. They can't be too big. I can't be too hasty. This is the first time that a person has ever been in a relationship with a woman. The problem is that the government is not able to control the situation. Protecting the blueprint. The government has also been critical of the situation in the country. The city is a targeted defense. Nick told Season Delenn Baker later. Game 4 will not be a ball against the 21st century. The most important and crucial war. The fate of the entire media machine is likely to be decided by a single vote. I want to say, for the horse, and synthetically, it is not. The Medjas are fighting in a flash of fire. But we've done that.